Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And we don't actually have to go around very far because we're going to start and stop with BILT 2.0. That's right. We have 3 new credit cards to take a look at, a very convoluted reward system to discuss, and some overall thoughts about this new launch, how it went seemingly horribly wrong, what it means for you, is this even useful to anyone? So we'll cover all of it. So of course, that sounds interesting to you. Go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, of course, last week we had the leaks from BILT 2.0. Some folks had, found a page, a web page, where they got in and saw the code for these 3 cards. And we knew we were getting 3 cards, but we didn't have the actual details of the cards. And so now we do this. I'm taping this on Saturday the 17th, so it's past Wednesday. They had the official announce. They flew some of my peers out to a big shindig out there to take a look at them, which seemed pretty cool. I think more card companies should probably do that, or at least look to give certain folks information, press packets ahead of time so they can get the information correct. But funny enough, as you'll see, the theme of this is it's still very hard to understand and follow, even having done that, which is quite a feat in its own right. So that was Wednesday, and then the cards are now open for existing BILT cardholders to go in and pick which card they want. Again, these cards are with cardless as well, so keep that in mind. So we will take a look at the cards, then we'll talk about the main thing you want to know, which is how do I earn on rent and mortgages. And again, at the time of taping, which is Saturday the 17th, Friday evening, they came out with another Reddit post which updated the options of how you can earn points doing rent and mortgage. So we'll use that. All the posts I've seen are linked down below in the blog post for you if you want to follow along. So let's get into it here, taking a look at the cards themselves. Again, we have 3 of them, and we'll start with the blue card. So this one has no annual fee, which is nice. You're going to get 1 back on all purchases. They all earn this 4% BILT cash. We'll talk about it. 3 back at partner restaurants when you choose the dining category. Of course, you've got to choose. I think groceries is the other choice you can pick. 3x at partner fitness studios, 3 back on Lyft rides, and 2 back at Walgreens. Your intro offer here is going to be $100 BILT cash when you apply and get approved. The Obsidian card here is $95. Your multiplier is going to be 3 back on your choice of dining or groceries. Groceries is capped at $25,000 in spend a year. 2 back on travel, 1 back on everything else. 5 back at the partner restaurants if you chose the dining category. 3 back at partner fitness studios. 3 back on Lyft rides, and 2 back at Walgreens. You do get a credit this time. It's $100 BILT travel hotel credit. That's $50 biannually, minimum 2-night stay. You also get MasterCard World Elite benefits here, and your intro offer is going to be $200 BILT cash when you apply and get approved. The Palladium card, the old JP Morgan Reserves name, I guess they weren't using that trademark anymore, so why not take it BILT? So $495, 2 back on all purchases except for non-rent, so rent and mortgage, you can't do that. You're going to get 1 back on that. 4x back at partner restaurants, 4 back at partner fitness studios, 4 back on Lyft rides, and 3 back at Walgreens. Your credits are going to be $400 in BILT travel hotel credit. Again, $200 biannually, 2-night stay again, and $200 BILT cash credit each year as an annual benefit. You do get priority pass. You can also choose between a mirror finish if you want. So they're taking the old JP Morgan name and the Amex's fresh coat of paint on the platinum. Nice touch there. And this is a MasterCard World Legend. So I think that makes our 2nd World Legend card that we know about. Intro offer here, $300 BILT cash when you apply and get approved. 50,000 points, bonus points after 4,000 in spend in the first 3 months, and gold status as well if you hit that $4,000 in spend. It's also worth noting that if you are interested, I don't get anything for this, but the points guy, TPG, seems to have a unique affiliate link where if you go through their link, you can get an additional 5x points per dollar for the first 5 days from sign up to 50,000 bonus points, maxed out at $10,000 in spend. So that's also in the blog post for you. Again, I don't get anything for it, but if you're interested, you might as well get it. That's an interesting way to do it for the first 5 days, given you really won't have your physical card within 5 days. So I assume they're going to give you a digital card, but getting a digital card probably likely limits you on what you can rack up in 5 days. If you had a big spend, big ticket item, like, I don't know, taxes don't count, actually, we'll cover that too. I don't know, automotive repair, home repair, whatever, something where they're gonna need the physical card, I don't love how they're doing that, honestly. But hey, there you go. So as far as the cards themselves on their own, I mean, I feel the same way I do about most annual fee cards, and they're kind of going the same way that many other cards are. Getting higher multipliers with folks in their network and their partners, like the partner restaurants, the partner fitness studios. Well, we've seen Chase and, more back through Chase Travel, more back through like, Resi, more back through the Edit. So they're kind of just following suit there. I don't love that you have to pick between dining or groceries on these cards, given the fees. I don't love the credits. I mean, the credits are fine, presumably, if you're going to be using these cards. We definitely see more difficult credits to use. Don't see why they can't just give it to you all at once versus, the splitting it up. It makes a little bit more sense on the other cards, but here I feel like they probably could. But other than that, I mean, I think they're fine. You can see the path forward to get your money back. Well, sort of, because you have to understand what BILT Cash is about, which is the next part about this. Now, we've talked about BILT Cash before. They had a whole blog post about it back in October, only that it was replacing, their old rewards program. So points and BILT Cash are two separate things. So the cards earn two separate currencies at the same time. That was at 4% BILT Cash. So if you remember, the whole point about BILT was to pay your rent, and they've been teasing out they're going to tackle mortgages. So Friday, they came out with a new way. They've basically two options on how this could work, right? So I will go directly from their blog post that they put up. I'll put it on screen for you. Option 1, option 2. So option 1 is a simple fee-free way to earn rewards on housing. Pay your full rent or mortgage every month with no transaction fee. Earn points on housing automatically in lieu of earning BILT Cash. While everyday spend will not earn BILT Cash, you will still get your annual or welcome BILT Cash credits with this card. The more you use your card for everyday spend, the higher your rewards will be. So they give you an example of a $2,000 rent payment. So on the left here, you can see the points. So if you spent at least 25% of your monthly rent, so 25% of $2,000 is $500. You spent $500 on random stuff throughout the month, half a point. If you spent 50%, you can get 0.75 points. That'd be $1,000, half of $2,000. If you spend 75% of your rent, $1,500, then you're going to get 1 point back. And if you spent the exact same $2,000, then 1.25 back. That's what you would get on rent or mortgage. That's not too terribly hard to understand. You'll see your progress to each tier clearly in the app each month. Just like today, if you don't hit the minimum spend requirement, you still earn 250 points per month. BILT Card 2.0 also removes the 100,000 rent point cap that existed with Card 1.0, so you can now earn unlimited points on housing payments. So that's not terrible. That's actually fairly straightforward to understand, more or less, because that's how it used to work, I think. Now, there's also an option 2, which was the original option of BILT 2.0, and that brings in the BILT Cash. So let's take a look at this. Again, from their blog post. If you prefer the original fee-free structure we launched Card 2.0 with, it's still available for you. Earn 4% back in BILT Cash on everyday purchases in addition to these base points. Think of BILT Cash as a choose-your-own reward. Pay your full rent or mortgage every month with no transaction fee. You can use as little or as much of your BILT Cash to increase the total points you earn on housing that month, and you do not ever pay anything out of pocket. You can also redeem BILT Cash dollar for monthly credits across BILT's ecosystem. It's like fitness classes, Lyft, travel, things like that. Again, the more you use your card, the more you earn. You can choose which one you want when you activate your card, and you can switch between option 1 and option 2, and it takes effect the following month. It's still not super clear. From what I understand, and I am more than happy to be corrected because I don't know if I understand this all the way, it sounds like you need to earn the BILT Cash to offset the processing fee or transaction fee or unlock paying that amount of rent or mortgage each month. That's what you would use BILT Cash for. Sure, there are other redemptions, but presumably you wouldn't have this card and be going through all this if you didn't want to pay your rent or mortgage. So you think of BILT Cash. You cannot cash it out for money. You can redeem it for other things if you wanted to, but you kind of use it to unlock and offset the transaction fee, I think. And so they're saying there's no transaction fee. You're not going to pay a transaction fee because you're either going to do option one, where you're just going to, unlock paying. So you're going to earn so many points based on, how much you spent, or they're going to give you BILT Cash to offset it. It's still not the clearest thing in the world. So there's that, and that's pretty much why you're here. Some other notes here. Again, I've got a link for BILT Cash. It's, again, redeemable 1-to-1 to cover the 3% processing fee for rent and mortgage payments, as well as Lyft, hotels, dining, fitness, home delivery, and BILT collection credits. Unused BILT Cash does expire at the end of each calendar year. You can roll over $100 of BILT Cash, kind of keeps you on that treadmill of using it. They have excluded from earning points on tax payments and gift cards. Those are excluded among the usual suspects. You can't, so no tax payments, no gift cards, of course. You can earn on multiple properties. So I have multiple properties. There's not like a limit. You can do that. All mortgage servicers are supported, which is nice. You can't use BILT Cash to cover fees if using a non-BILT credit card. From what I understand, you can only hold one of these. I think you can product change. If you pick one and then you change your mind, you can switch it, but I don't believe there's product changing after launch. Rent and mortgage is not paid via the credit card's credit limit. It's still an AC. It's using an ACH payment as well. Again, I linked the FAQ, Dr. Credit, and my good friend, colleague Spencer Johnson had a video on it because he was boots on the ground. So I linked to his video as well because he did capture some notes, and that's all in the blog post. Last thing I want to do here for opinion's sake is they have an FAQ that they published. The last time you needed an FAQ to get through a credit card review is who knows how long ago, but they have an FAQ. So let's take a look at this, and we will go through and answer some questions that you might have, and then we'll do some thoughts. So this is the bit most controversial one. Are there any fees on rent or mortgage payments? No, you will never pay fees to earn points on rent or mortgage payments through the BILT card, no matter which value-added rewards option you select. Again, I think that's because you just can't spend past how much you've unlocked to pay. That's my understanding of it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Do I need to pay a fee to earn rewards on housing? No, there's never a fee. You'll earn points on housing differently depending on which value option you add. They really get the value added option is ridiculous. And your earning rates will depend on how you use your card for everyday spend. Is there still a cap on how many points I can earn? No, the cap is removed. Do BILT points expire? No, so BILT Cash does. BILT points do not. Why can't I use my credit line for rent and mortgage payments? We don't need to read that. I mean, it's basically just because servicers don't really like paying with debt for debt, and I imagine it's going to cut their costs not having to pay extra processing fees. Can I pay rent or mortgage for more than one home through BILT? Yes, you can. Your spend requirements would just change for the card. Can I change my BILT value-added rewards? We covered that, yes. Will I still receive credit for reporting for rent payments? Yes, you continue to receive free credit reporting, so that's cool. Transitioning to 2.0 be a hard pull? No. I'm going to see if any more of these are of interest to you. So then the rest goes into, so I mean, the FAQ definitely helps. I just don't know if we have ever needed an FAQ to get through all of this. So again, I don't love making a video about this because I don't know that I fully understand what they're going for. I get the options that you can choose and how that works, but I think the whole problem in this came for is really just, are you paying a processing fee or not? It sounds like technically no, you're not. However, you still got to do these requirements to basically qualify to pay your full amount of rent mortgage. That's the way I'm reading. The BILT Cash is basically used to offset that or to unlock that, if you will. So I think if you didn't earn enough BILT Cash to cover the full processing fee, then you just would only be able to pay up to the amount of BILT Cash that you had to cover it. I think again, let me know, keep me honest down below. And I've read their posts and everything, and it's not super helpful. And that's really the problem, because now we'll get into the opinion piece of this. On one hand, I think BILT Rewards created the product that they set out to create, which is safeguarding it against people like us. They've made multiple references to the one banana, two banana thing. And if you don't know, if people originally, you had to, instead of having a spend requirement to unlock rent and mortgage, you had like a transaction. You'd make 5 transactions. So folks, the joke was you go like take a thing of bananas and scan them, do 5 separate transactions. This doesn't really get any cheaper than buying 5 individual bananas, right? And so that, of course, was never sustainable. So what they've done, obviously, is make their products the treadmill effect of now, like, yes, if you use the card, then you can get towards rent and mortgage payments, no problem. The more you use it, the more you can spend. So as someone who's, a landlord and 3 mortgages, like, yeah, I could use this, but like I'm going to have to put some serious amount of spend on it to do it, no matter which way you choose, which method you choose, option 1 or option 2, which is, I would say, fair. I can't necessarily fault them for that. The problem is this launch is very convoluted, and if you don't like the credit cards they came up with, so be it. You don't like the credit cards. It's the delivery of it all. And I think they went so far out of their way to try to make it confusing, to just shake my hand with my left while I take your watch with my right type thing is how it feels. That you're like, I don't know what's going on. Is there a process? If you just say yes or no, and they're saying no, there's not, but you've got to do like these, I don't want to call them hoops, but they also weren't really clear on the requirements the first go around as well. I think that's really the problem. It ends up being very confusing, hard to figure out what value you're getting. The BILT cash is kind of weird. Why make a card earn 2 points currencies? And one is legitimate points. The other one is like kind of useful, but it's really only for one specific thing. Let you also tell me, oh, you can redeem it for all these other things. But why would I do that? Because I kind of need it for the rent and mortgage payments. So I don't know if any of this is actually making any sense. I don't even know how confident I feel about this whole video, which should tell you a lot about this, really. I mean, to have to come out later and do an FAQ. So the bottom line, that portion of it, I think the cards are the cards. I don't hate them. I can see people who would like them and still get value from them, depending on how you value BILT points. If you're a Hyatt loyalist, they have Hyatt. People generally love Hyatt, for example. I could see this definitely working for somebody. The problem is the launch was very convoluted. It's still not super clear. I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world to figure out if you're making value or not out of this. The other thing I would say is, they've likely ruined it for the people they wanted to ruin it for, which is us, because I don't think this card works in a setup anymore, and which is by design. This card is now meant to be 1 to 3 cards max, depending on how much money you have to spend. The mortgage here is $2,800, right? And so at headquarters, I don't spend, to get 1.25, I don't spend $2,800 a month on non-mortgage payments. I'd go broke if I spent $2,800 a month. Sure, there are some months that are higher, some that are lower, but I just don't do that. So you just spend like 75% of it, which I still think works out the same as BILT cash as well. You have to earn basically 75% of your mortgage in BILT cash, but that's still a significant amount of spend, which is, again, the point that they were going for. And that's why when I hear folks say, well, I'm going to add this in my setup, I don't know that you are, unless you're a very high spender. I think you're going to have to make this your setup in maybe 1 or 2 ancillary cards if you want. I could see you having this card and then you holding one of the Hyatt cards for the reward night or something, but even then, I mean, really pushing, which is the point. And I do think part of this is we do have to have some level of acknowledgement of like we ruin things, and I talked about this. I think I have a whole video titled like we ruin, or I think it was like we ruin the best credit card products, and so yes, doing 1 banana, 2 banana is well within the rights and the rules. And just because I don't have this doesn't mean I haven't ruined my fair share of banking referral products. I mean, I definitely have. I know that. I have a guy email me the other day about a PSECU referral. I told him I can't do anything with it because we did it so much that they've now blocked it from social media and they won't pay you anymore, right? So, I'm just as guilty, just on different products. But the point being, if we want stuff to last and work better, like, should we dial it back and not exploit every loophole? It's just really something to consider, and not to put this all back on BILT. The products themselves, I think, is their choice in what they did. We had some influence on that, to be sure. We should own that and take accountability for that, even though it doesn't make us wrong. We are involved. The launch and the confusion of it was them trying to be cute, in my opinion, and just try to avoid outright saying what they were doing and how they were shifting to it. The other thing for BILT, I think, is a problem is the everyday person, one, I don't know if they're really wanting to sign up for cardless. At least when it was Wells Fargo, you knew the name. And, number two, I got to go through all this and figure it out. With this table, it is a little bit easier to figure out. Option one's much easier to figure out now for sure. The BILT cash, I still feel like there's a part missing where it's like, I think I need enough BILT cash to cover the 3% to unlock that much of rent mortgage, but I haven't seen them say that 100%. Again, keep me honest. I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert or anything by that. So I do think that's a bit of a problem. So final thoughts here overall. I've been going for 20 minutes about this. The cards are the cards. I think they did what they wanted to do. They've alienated a lot of people on purpose. It probably feels a little bit of like a betrayal and, misdirection. I think that's where people are the most upset. But yes, we did play a part in that. I don't think this credit card fits into most people's setups. If you're using the word setup or, I don't think this card is going to be for you unless you want to shift to solely using this. And even then, I'd question, is it really worth it? Because then you're getting into like the opportunity cost of it all. Shifting all that spend away from higher end cards, other points, currencies to this. And granted, some of these categories are fairly high, but again, what are you really getting on rent, mortgage, all in? So there you go. That's my BILT thoughts. I think if you're interested, I could sit down and actually run the numbers as like a landlord. Like what would it look like to move everything over this, given you have 3 properties, 2,800 here, 400 something at the other one, mortgage, and 12, I can't remember the other one, which makes terrible. They're out of escrow, so they're lower. So we could do that as a video. If you made it this far and you want to see that, I could definitely do that. Let me know down below. But overall, that's BILT 2.0. I think as many banana peel jokes as they made, they kind of slipped on their own banana peel. So let me know what you think of BILT 2.0. Did you like it? Are you going to pick one up? Is it dead to you? What do you think overall? Or just tell me I got it horribly wrong, because that's entirely possible. But anyways, guys, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you find it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week, and of course right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, and of course every single day over on ProfitableContent.com, which is of course the channel's blog, always linked down below for you, as well as on the homepage. We have the latest news stories just like this, plenty of bank promotions and credit cards. I don't think we have the BILT card anymore, but probably not missing much these days. Anyways, that'll do for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.